President Trump moments ago saying Iran's response to the United States' latest peace proposal is totally unacceptable and accusing Iran of playing games. Let's go to NewsNation's Hannah Brandt live outside the White House with the very latest on these negotiations. Hannah, what more do we know about this back and forth between the U.S. and Iran?
Well, Alex, it's a pretty strong message from the president. As you said, he called Iran's proposal totally unacceptable. He says he doesn't like it, though he didn't explain why specifically. The president did express further frustration with Iran in a post he put out just hours after they apparently sent the U.S. their proposal. He wrote, "Iran has been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years. The president goes on to accuse them of killing Americans and unarmed innocent protesters. He says Iran has been, quote, laughing at our now great again country, but warns they will be laughing no longer. Now, according to Iranian state media, the country's proposal included an end to the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon. Plus, they want guarantees surrounding their ship security. Now, the most recent U.S. proposal centered a deal to end the war around reopening the Strait of Hormuz. We know that's been a critical point of contention, and it would also have placed strict limits on Iran's nuclear program. In a statement from the Iranian president today, he wrote, "We will never bow our heads before the enemy, and if talk of dialogue or negotiation arises, it does not mean surrender or retreat." Just earlier today, UN Ambassador Mike Waltz said President Trump is pushing for a deal, but says he's also prepared to resume full-scale attacks on Iran. Take a listen.
When the mediators, in this case Pakistan, ask us, head of state to head of state, to give this negotiation another chance before we go back to bombing Iran, then I think that's completely an appropriate choice for President Trump to make. He is giving diplomacy every chance we possibly can before going back to hostilities, but he's absolutely prepared to do that.
What's unclear is where these diplomatic discussions go from here, or if they cease entirely now that the president has expressed his frustration with Iran's latest proposal. But threats are continuing in the meanwhile. The UAE does say it intercepted Iranian missiles into its territory just today. Qatar says Iranian drones attacked one of its commercial ships off the coast of Doha. And this all comes just days after the U.S. and Iran exchanged strikes. Alex?
And Hannah, I know you're also monitoring the president's upcoming trip to China. We know the war with Iran is likely going to be one of the main focal points during that meeting. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, earlier today, the White House held a call with reporters to sort of preview what to expect on this trip. And on that call, senior Trump administration officials told us they do expect the conflict in the Middle East will be a top point of discussion between President Trump and President Xi. The president is set to arrive in China later this week. And when he does, these officials tell us he will likely continue to pressure President Xi to try to convince Iran to strike a deal. That's something we've seen him already do because we know China and Iran have some pretty friendly ties. And the Trump administration officials also say they expect the two to talk about reports of Chinese companies sending weapons, intelligence to help Iran in this war. That's been a point of contention as well. But beyond that, administration officials really say the goal of this trip is to talk about rebalancing the U.S.-Chinese economic relationship. You know, we've seen a ton of back and forth on trade and tariffs in the past year with both the U.S. and China levying different taxes on each other. The Trump team has argued all along that President Trump is focused on restoring fairness. He just doesn't think that trade relationship with China as it stands is fair. And so we're told the leaders will talk about that, about trade, and about agreements on other issues like aerospace, agriculture, and energy. So really a lot on their agenda. And we're also told plans are already in the works for President Xi and his wife to come visit D.C. later this year, Alex.
All right, that's NewsNation's Hannah Brandt reporting live outside the White House today. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.